Yes, sir. Welcome, 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 man. This is the Vibes channel. You know the vibes always live over here, baby. You might have seen some stranger things. You might have seen things that look strange. Just know this is the 2025 class, and I'm here with the guys. We're going to bring it to y'all the way you're supposed to be brought, baby. We got Matty in the building. We got Rock in the kitchen. And, hey, my brother told me he was cooking for New Year's. We forgot that we always cooking with him on New Year's, baby. So we here to bring the vibes. We here to get it popping. Let me introduce the guys, or let them introduce themselves, man. In case you didn't know why you was here, they're the reason why you're here, baby. So, Matty, what's good? What's popping, my brother?
You know what? Talk about Fizz, that T-Rock's in the kitchen. I do strange things to have some T-Rock's meat right now.
That's how you start the New Year's off.
For all you
New Year off.
you got all you scumbags out there with their minds in the gutter. I'm talking about his proteins that he cooks.
Yeah.
I've been the pleasure of having many a different T-Rock meats, and they're all delicious.
Look, no vitamin D, right? No vitamin D. Rock, what up, man? What's good with you, Playboy?
What's up, Fizz? See, Matty, he just misses my staple carnitas, which, if you go to the Canton Expo that we have done in past years, that has always been the highlight of that trip, Fizz. So appreciate to be able to cook up with you guys. But we're not here about meat. We're not here about Stranger Things. We're here to talk about the 2025 rookie class, and I can't think of two other better people to talk about it than you guys. A lot of things went right. A lot of things went wrong. A lot of things are left in the upside down. So why don't we just get right into it, Fizz?
I'm with you, my brother. I'm with you, man. So without further ado, baby, let's get it started with these good old rookies, man. 2025, that's why we here. That's why we here, baby. So hold on now. I was trying to do this seamless, but you know it don't never go the way I wanted to go. So there we go.
You're doing great, Fizz.
There we go, baby. Give me my fire. It's popping. We burning hot up in here, baby. We gonna go ahead and get it started. But without further ado, man, we ain't gonna hold y'all up no longer. In case you didn't do good in your leagues this year, hopefully you learn something. You follow this, you get the structure, you figure out what the hell went wrong or what went right, and you're spending some of that money. Don't forget to hit my cash app after this. All right. We gonna get it started first, though. Ashton Jeanty, baby. 101, man. He was talk of the town, talk of the draft. Everybody needed the 101 for this guy. Matty, let us know why they wanted that, brother.
I think what we saw in 2025, what I learned from Jeanty was he's very talented, but the situation matters, and more so, the microscope that these guys are under when they're a first-round running back is wild. Because the vibes around Jeanty all year was that he was a bust, and I would imagine that there are a lot of teams in Dynasty that didn't get over the hump having the 101 last year, getting Jeanty, adding a running back that they thought they were adding. But I think what we did see was a talented player. Running back 13 isn't terrible. And with this offensive line and this offense, getting, inside the top 15 is commendable. So I really enjoy the player. I think that there's a lot of promise with the player. What we saw, the stats are there, especially at the end of the year, it kind of went off, but he's still going to be under 1,000 yards rushing. I don't think he's going to do that in week 18. So I think in a lot of marketplaces, there's going to be an opportunity to buy. But, if you look at keep trade cut, running back 4, it's going to cost you. It's definitely going to cost you with some Jeanty stuff.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those things, Matty. I think the biggest thing that I really learned, and I'm not sure if we're able to really avoid it, it comes down, I think, to the offensive line. The offensive line in Las Vegas had to have been the absolute worst. It was between them and the Texans. But I don't remember, if you guys remember, maybe I might have missed it. Did anyone talk about this offensive line during the offseason? Everyone was talking about Chip Kelly and the other coach that was coming into town from Seattle. What the hell is his name again? Pete Carroll. So everyone was talking about that. Everyone was talking about Geno Smith. Everyone was talking about all these wide receivers that didn't end up doing anything for the Las Vegas Raiders this year. I don't remember anyone really talking about the offensive line, and let alone being the worst one in the NFL. And I think you really can't avoid that. I remember last year with Jaden Daniels, I was super scared about the offensive line. That ended up not really making a difference. But there is this offensive line everyone was talking about. The Seattle Seahawks having a really bad one. The Houston Texans, even the Miami Dolphins. And but no one was really talking about this one in Las Vegas. And I think that ended up being the Achilles heel for Ashton Jeanty and just the whole offense in general. Chip Kelly didn't know what the hell he was doing. Pete Carroll was just chewing gum on the sideline, trying to have himself a good time despite everything being on fire around him. But nothing that happened with Ashton Jeanty was his fault. He's still graded out as one of the top 10 RBs for me, despite how bad this offensive line was. And there was nothing that I saw from him personally that made me regret drafting him whatsoever. So I guess the real question is like, can we really even avoid that? We really won't know how good an offensive line is going to be until the season starts. But regardless of that, are we buying, are we selling, are we holding Ashton Jeanty? And are you still hopeful for him in 2026 with all these issues they have to fix?
Yeah, I'm hopeful because things could turn around quickly, especially in offensive line. Just as, investing in this position. And you make a great point. Last year, they were middle of the road, so everyone assumed they were going to be a league average offensive line with the offensive guru Chip Kelly that just got 2 guys drafted in the top 50 from Ohio State. So we did not see this coming. And I think in terms of the situation, I learned a lot, and you learn every year more and more about the situation, the draft capital, the things that go in to evaluating these guys for fantasy. But there was nothing here for me that's going to change my process. It just didn't work out. But last year, the Patriots were the worst offensive line in football. And this year, after investment, 2 fantasy relevant running backs, receivers are there. Drake May's taking the step forward, so things can change. So I'm buying Jeanty. It's just you're paying a top 5 price. So I think because of the market and where it sits now, he's kind of going to settle us into a hold for me. But I'm not selling. I'm not going to sell low.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. What about you, Fizz? You have any final thoughts on Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah. My final thought on Jeanty is to bring up what we talked about with the rookie episode that we did for the RBs or the sale RBs. I remember during the summer or even previously before the season, you had brought up Vegas and the points per game that the Raiders would score. And they already had a low average of points per game. So if you already expected the team to not score many points, we didn't expect Ashton Jeanty to have a lot of points scored. You know what I'm saying? So granted, he is going to get the PPR yards. You're going to get the receiving yards, the rushing yards. But actual touchdowns, like getting 1 catch or 1 rush for 6 points and adding that to your player, that was going to come hard in Vegas. In Vegas, and we all knew that. So for him to be, Matty, you said what, RB14, I believe, or
13.
Yeah. The team didn't even score 13 points a game. So I'm just saying that to say them trailing so much and Geno throwing 100,000 picks, it didn't put him in the best position. But to see him overcome all the obstacles and do that, and it took a little bit of time, man. He's a young rookie running back. So he didn't start off hot. Omarion Hampton pretty much started off hotter than him, which we'll talk about him. But Jeanty got it clicking, and once he got it going, man, he was up and down a little bit. But the whole organization is upside down. So I would just say I trust the guy going forward. And if you're going to buy him, you better do it now because they have the 101. And if they get another flashy rookie QB, let's just say, the price is going to go up. People are going to see new faces in the organization, and they might say, hey, this is going to help the offense more. Jeanty will be better. So you better get them while they're down now because if you try to get them later, it's going to cost you a little bit more, baby. So that's my final thoughts on the Ginster. I'll just say we're going to go ahead and move on. Let's see what life is in the Hamptons, baby. Life is looking good, I guess. And let's go to the number 2 pick, man. Omarion Hampton, baby. Life in the Hamptons is looking a little spooky out there these days. I don't know. I remember when Paris Hilton and the crew was out there. It was nice and shiny. Right now, it's looking like a lot of slime and a whole lot of other stuff going on, baby. But offensive line in shambles. They losing a player every single week. The quarterback had the broken hand. Through all of that, Hampton ended up getting hurt, but it looks like coming off of this game last week, he's starting to get his mojo back. We'll see what it looks like for them in the playoffs and when they get his engine going. But before we get into the playoffs and all that stuff, Rock, man, let us know about this dude, OH, and how you feel about him going forward and what he brought to us this year.
Fizz, of all the prospects that we're going to be gone through in this first round, Omarion Hampton was probably the least surprising as far as what my pre-draft ideas and aspirations for him were going to be and where he ended up finishing. Basically, he did not disappoint to be able to live up to the expectations. We saw a lot of the talent that he had when in college, whether it's rushing the ball, getting those long, big chunk plays, and also in the receiving game as well. So I think he really did live up to expectations, and he was able to do it similar to Ashton Jeanty with a whole bunch of like offensive line issues. I mean, when you lose the two best tackles tandem in the NFL, and you go through Fizz, they went through 28 offensive line changes. And the fact that they're 11 wins, that they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're also dangerous as well. Omarion Hampton is one of those guys that I'm definitely holding at RB6 prices. I think it is tough to be able to buy him, but I'm very, very hopeful for him in the future. But yeah, I think he lived right up to expectations. I love Omarion Hampton.
Where we at, Matty?
So for me, between Hampton and Jeanty, I am more likely to buy Hampton because I think the situation is going to get exponentially better next year. And what we've also seen from this offense, it's so running back friendly. Despite the offensive line issues, Hampton was like a 14, running back 14 on a per game basis while he was on the field. We saw Kimani Vidal come in and slay, all of a sudden resurrect his dynasty value. People were able to move him for 26 seconds, 27 seconds. People were able to cash in on Kimani Vidal with this offense without the tackles. You bring the tackles back. You bring back Omarion Hampton in a workhorse load. I am willing to pay through the teeth, pay through the nose for Hampton. So he is a buy for me, despite the high prices. And sometimes, make sure you're kicking the tires in your league because keep trade cut is a good market indicator when we're talking generalities, starting points. But everyone's market has some ups, some downs, some value. Maybe this guy screwed over a team and you're seeing him in the group chat being, fuck Omarion Hampton, I hate this guy after he got hurt. If there were, maybe you could get a little bit discount. So I'm looking to trade. But even at, a keep trade, cut market, I'm okay paying. I think the sky is the limit for this player. And real quick, because I don't want to get into a lot of it, because I think T-Rock, you kind of spoke to all the points I would have, and I think a lot of the analysis is the same as Jeanty. But the last thing I'll say about both of these guys, if I have the 101 in 2026, these are the two first calls I'm making. Give me Jeanty or give me Hampton for the 101-26 pick, even in Superflex.
Wow, because I haven't started looking at the 2026 class, Matty, but it sounds like you like both of these guys over, is it Jeremiah Love, the 101? Next year, this upcoming rookie class?
Jeremiah Love would be on this table. So if your cup of tea is Love, you just want to get the extra year control, maybe that is your tiebreaker. But if they were all in the same class, as of right now, my rankings would have them very close together.
Ready. Cool.
Like that call, brother. I like throwing in that 2026 class because the people want to hear that too because they burning those picks. Matty right now are burning people's pockets, man. They want to make a move so bad, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these trade offers might get sent out through conversations and DMs and all that good stuff. So make sure you check out what's going on over in the Hamptons, baby. But you gotta know I've been talking about it all season, all last season. The people slept on my boy. They didn't like the tape. They ain't like how it looked. It don't matter because they're watching VHSs anyway. We moving to DVDs. We moving to streaming. We talking tank for Tet, baby. All right, my boy Tet McMillan did what he's supposed to do, and he took care of business, man. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be where he was going to be, and I would just say, me and Rock talked about this before, and he told me about Keon Coleman and how even though he's not playing the best ball he can play, a lot of it is he's not in the right position. He shouldn't be playing the role he's playing with the team. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers for putting Tet McMillan in the role he's supposed to be playing and not having him go out and run routes that he shouldn't be running. So him being where he's supposed to be, running the routes he's supposed to be running is the reason why we love what we saw this year today. So looking at the situation, Bryce Young, we believe he had a better season. He should be the QB. Regardless, tank for Tet. Just remember that, all right? So, Matty, where we at with it with the four, my boy number 4, and what's the barbecue sauce like down there in Carolina, big dog?
So the Tet McMillan case study for me is just makes the process in my head more cloudy because there was so many indicators in this profile that he wasn't going to ascend to the level he did already, but yet Then again, I'm like, well, maybe you just don't overthink it. If they can win in college, they can win in the pros. But then next year, I'll see a guy who can win in college who can't win in the pros. So it just made the process more cloudy. But what it just did for me is don't over fade a player because of some of the red flags that are raised in college in trying to predict the transition from one to the other. And then also sometimes allow yourself to just say, you're right, NFL franchise. I'm going to rely on your $1 billion resources to say that you got it right. And once the Carolina Panthers were like, we're taking this kid inside the top 10, that should have been enough for me to at least shed some of the red flags and just be a little bit more optimistic because I'd have him on more teams. But even though I like what I've seen, if your market and your trade in your league runs like keep trade cut runs kind of pure, I would sell because I think he's almost at his peak value at wide receiver 9 in Dynasty, and there's just a number of guys ranked below him that I think a tear down would warrant, and I think right now going into 26 is a great pocket for some of the fish in your league to get a little bit too excited about the rookies coming in and kind of distance themselves from the rookies coming in 27, and we want those 27 picks. So, I mean, if you can move Tet in for Chris Olave in a 27 first, and you maybe have to these trades I'm looking to make, and I think it's possible in league markets. So for that reason, is a sell. But in terms of the prospect, I think he really came in and did well. He did really well in a situation that I think we can all agree wasn't ideal. There's better places to be than Carolina right now, but he did the most with it. And this is a guy you have to have seen on tape because the numbers aren't as eye popping. The metrics are good, not great, but the tape said a lot when you watched him on the field.
Where we at, Rob?
So my lesson learned with Tetairoa McMillan is that all players have flaws, but can the coach and the personnel around that player mitigate those flaws? So I remember doing a show with EV, America's Game, and this was very early on. This might have been right after the Super Bowl. And we both had Tet as the 101 of this class. That completely changed after 3 months of people just dragging this guy through the mud. I mean, Steve Smith Sr., he had him as number 2 in the class, but you wouldn't have known that just by what he was saying about this guy. All he was really focusing on was the flaws. Then there was the tape gate where people were watching this guy on the Discord and had really nothing positive to say about him. And then, lo and behold, once you get through the season, a lot of that stuff was mitigated by the fact that I think, especially when Jalen Coker came back from injury and he was able to be on the outside more as an X wide receiver, then Tetairoa McMillan was able to be deployed in multiple different positions around the field. And Dave Canales did an amazing job being able to use this guy in very versatile ways that really, really accentuated how good he is as a football player, especially with yards after the catch and how explosive he is. So a lot of these things with a lot of these prospects we're going to talk about, you really are not going to know whether or not, very much what Fizz was saying about Keon Coleman. The Bills never really tried to get him in a position to succeed. Dave Canales, I think, did the opposite. I think he did an amazing job trying to really put Tetairoa McMillan in a position to succeed. And for those reasons, I see a lot of what you're saying, Matty, when it comes to probably him being a sell. When I looked at midseason grades for all my wide receivers, so this is around, I think we did this around 10 or 11, Fizz. We looked at all the different wide receiver buys and sells. He graded out as my 21st wide receiver, which isn't too bad for a rookie. I mean, that's that tier 3, tier 4 wide receiver. So maybe he is a sell, but he did not disappoint. And I'm very happy with what Dave Canales was able to do with him in Carolina. I think he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, the tail of the tape, Matty. A lot of people, when they saw the tape in the offseason, and it wasn't just the content creators, it was real NFL people like Steve Smith and a lot of these other guys that said, man, Tet just, doesn't have it. He isn't what we believe him to be. And hey, man, again, coaching matters. When you got a coach that puts you in a position, you can make the 6th round pick look like Puka Nacua, baby. So that's why real coaching matters. They're doing real coaching down there in Carolina, clearly, and they got him in the right position. So I think I'm with both of you on selling him, though. If he's number 9, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of this Carolina that it says sale, or maybe it's, just the aura of that's a real high price for what we believe Bryce Young can keep him at. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more of a Bryce Young thing than a Ted McMillan thing when it comes to that. But regardless, he did what he was supposed to do. He was one of the guys that helped us in this class. And shout out my boy Ted, baby. I don't have no shares. Somebody please trade me. I appreciate you. But hey, man, it's time to go downtown over there to the good old New England, baby. You know, my boy got on his B hat. He holding it down. So we're going to save Matty for second, baby. We're going to go to T-Rock first. Let him breeze through. Get him some clam chowder, some good old lobster rolls, and see what's popping down there. And, hey, let us know how you're feeling right now, Rock, about our boy, TreVeyon Henderson, baby. I'm talking about TreVeyon Henderson. I tried to rename him. 32, all right, big dog. 32. Let me be quiet, man. Go ahead, Rob.
So coming out of Ohio State, the only other RB that looked as good on tape as TreVeyon Henderson, to me personally, was Ashton Jeanty. I think on the field, as far as explosiveness goes, versatility, TreVeyon Henderson was one of the best backs in this class, one of the best backs that we have seen in years to come out of college. The biggest lesson that I learned with TreVeyon Henderson this past season is that old school coaches make rooks earn it. How panicked were people the first 4 to 6 weeks, Fizz? People were asking on our channel, what should I do with TreVeyon Henderson? Should I sell him for just a second? And both you and me were like, hell no, you have to hold the line. This guy is way too talented. He is way more talented than Ramondre Stevenson and whoever else that other asshole was that they elevated from the practice squad. Matty probably knows this is his team. But yeah, old school coaches, they really want to make these guys earn it because you have all these veterans, you have all these guys that have been cutting their teeth maybe for years, maybe for close to a decade. They've been working, hard as hell. So to see a rookie come in and immediately get all the touches, that's just not the way a lot of coaches are able to do it. That's just not the way they prefer it. So they made him earn it. He also had his fumble issues as well. That could be a death nail for a lot of different RBs as well, where if you fumble the ball, you're not going to get seen again until next week. So I'm absolutely just like floored and just like over the moon with the fact that he was able to finish the season the way that he is. And I'm super excited for him. I think of a lot of these RBs at RB7 right after Omarion and Hampton, especially with Drake May taking that huge ascension into elite status and with their OC and McDaniels. I think that there is just a lot to look forward to in the future for TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah, well, I just before I go into Matty, I did want to add on. It helps a little bit, Rock, when the guy in front of you was fumbling too. Ramondre Stevenson was fumbling like crazy too. So that kind of helped him out, didn't make him look too bad. But Matty, go ahead and let us know, man. You the hometown hero, baby. Let us know how you feeling about your boys, man. Being the top dogs in the AFC, but we're gonna talk about the rookie right now.
Well, just Patriots are the best. We're heading in. Maybe
hey, the Patriots way, baby. Patriots way. Hey, Matty, I've been preaching this on the cook up. The Patriots way is a way that they believe and they understand, man. So hey, hard coaching works, baby.
Vrabel's got the boys playing hard, and he's got TreVeyon playing fantastic. And I agree with everything T-Rock said. I completely share his optimism. I completely agree, how to value TreVeyon going forward. But the lesson that I learned this year, and it will be part of my process until it's proven the otherwise, is the platoon running backs in college. You want to potentially fade slightly the guys who are getting the weak side of the platoon. So the pass catchers, the guys who are coming in the TreVeyon Henderson, the big play role, the spell role, the 2-minute drill role, as opposed to someone we'll talk about in a few picks. And you saw the usage and how it was used by both of these teams in accordance to how they were used in college. And they had to earn it. They had to ease it. But I think when they are a Quinshaw Judkins, TreVeyon Henderson conundrum, two players, they clearly do separate things on their college team. And then they get drafted and their pro team expects them to do the similar things. I think that'll help me from using the 103 on TreVeyon and being a little bit smarter, taking a Tet McMillan in my rookie drafts, or taking something, an asset that breaks the tie in a favorable way, so that I could play the rookie value. Because in middle parts of the season, you were able to get TreVeyon at a bit of a discount. You were able to get guys like Quinshon Judkins because he was getting the strong side of the platoon. He was getting the touchdowns. He wasn't having to break away 60-yard runs, which is very hard to do in the NFL, even for someone as talented as TreVeyon. So I'm looking to buy because we saw this kind of a same ascension with Jahmyr Gibbs. There was do we buy? He's kind of the satellite guy to David Montgomery. And then of a sudden, once that thing flipped, he was an absolute world beater, warp destroyer like he was this past year. So I'm looking to buy even at this high price. But I do think going forward, these platoon running backs, I'll pay a little bit more attention to how that role looked in college and if it will be the role they play early on in the NFL.
And I got a quick question for you because I remember talking about this with you during the off season with these draft prospects with TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. So a lot of my process and my metrics that I look at, it's not just efficiency, but it's also overall production. So TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon were a lot lower because they cannibalized each other. They didn't have the amount of volume that most of these other prospects had, where they had the whole backfield to themselves. And I remember you telling me, well, just double it. Just double their production, because that's what it would have looked like if they did have the whole backfield to themselves. Do you still think that way, or do you think that maybe we really shouldn't be doing that we should just go with the production and the volume that they had, and maybe just only project a little bit if they would have had the backfield all to themselves?
No, I think as long as you tweak that to make it maybe not be exactly double, maybe you find the right amount is 1.8 or something. You just find the right number. But I still think the process there is fine.
Yeah.
I think what we just have to look at is how were they used in the platoon, because
Gotcha.
I would still rank TreVeyon above Quinshon. I still believe he's a better running back than Quinshon. But in terms of how the market lays out in fantasy, I think it takes longer for the satellite back pass catching guy to be able to shine, because the volume is what translates right away. And Quinshon was getting, the carry on the one, so he'd have 2 touchdowns. He was getting the wildcat, so he was getting these first, second, third down touches that I think translates earlier than a satellite back would. So I think that is the role we're looking at. But in terms of production, I still think there's a double, whatever the 2x, for simple, for a simple type factor, because in college, regardless of your role on a specific team, if you're given the keys to the castle and you're awesome, you're going to be awesome. We've seen a number of different profiles, number of different sizes, speeds, weight, guys who knock everyone over, guys who shake everybody. There's so many ways to win at the collegiate level that the volume translates regardless of the profile if you're good. But in terms of how that looks early on in the NFL, I think that is where I'm going to look a little bit more closely.
Here we go, baby. Well, go get you some damn TreVeyon Henderson. If you're too late, you're too late. But hey, man, we're going to move on. We will get to the first QB off the list, which is a guy that I thought, hey, bad situation, bad timing, but he will figure it out. Let's get to my dog, Cam Ward. Looks like he has the eye of the tiger. I believe it's the eye of the stranger. He got some strange things going on in him, but we're going to figure out what's going on with the QB1 of the class, of the draft class anyway. Let us know. I'll let which one of y'all take. Who want to go first? I have no quarrels with this guy right here. Who want to go first on Cam Ward?
Matty, why don't you go first?
Cam Ward, the thing I learned from Cam Ward wasn't really player specific. It was NFL team specific. And I think from now on, I am not just going to overhype the 101 quarterback, and even in Superflex, because I think what we're noticing, and if you look at trade markets, if you look at dynasty rankings, the guys at the top of the list weren't the best quarterback more often than not. Are there some? Yeah, Joe Burrow's still up there. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, they were 2 and 3, so they're still very high value picks. So it's not a cut and dry situation, but these 101s go to the worst team in football. So these 101s now get potentially behind the 8 ball if a GM, a team builder, doesn't absolutely hit the ball, pitch a perfect game in the offseason where they could vastly improve a team. It takes some time. and they can mess it up with coaches. We saw it with Drake May, all these different things. And I think Cam Ward really feels subject to a team that wasn't ready for its quarterback. And for that reason, I think he's a buy because I think the talent was there. I think the arm was there. And I do think he's a few weapons away, the right coaching hire away from ascending way above this QB 18 mark that you're seeing in a lot of trades. So I think he's a clear buy, especially in Superflex. The value to get him's been there. But I think going forward, like this year, Fernando Mendoza, if he goes to a shitbag team and they don't vastly improve, I am not going to lock in Fernando Mendoza as my 101 because it's Superflex and he's a quarterback. Because I do think there are purchasing windows throughout a rookie season, even for quarterbacks in Superflex. I've acquired a bunch of Cam Ward this year. I've acquired a bunch of Caleb Williams last year's 101 over these last 18 months, 12 months, whatever it is. So there's just really nice buying windows for quarterbacks on bad teams. So to expect them just to hit the ground running and be, QB1 going into the year, QB5 on the season, the market's just skyrocketing, it just feels more and more unlikely. And I think we see that in these rankings. So I'm going to put that into my process. But in terms of this player, I saw enough out of him that I'll look to buy in Superflex formats.
So, Matty, I have something very, very similar to you, and this is something that me and Fizz definitely have talked about. My biggest lesson that I learned specifically from Cam Ward is that not all organizations know how to develop a successful QB. Because you have to go all the way back to the years of Steve McNair in order to find a staple cornerstone QB that has played for this franchise. Pretty sure they were still the Oilers at the time at one point. And we have not seen since then any really good QBs that have come out of Tennessee. You had like 2 years with Ryan Tannehill, but he had already been developing in Miami before he even came over. And we know now that Mike Vrabel, he's one of those coaches that brings out the absolute best in players. Mike Vrabel wasn't there. Instead, they had another coach and his dad, and they just did a terrible job being able to surround him with anything to be able to put him in a successful position. The offensive line was awful. His best receiver he had to throw to was Calvin Ridley, who I'm pretty sure after the first month was on a milk carton. We never saw really him again. He had 2 rookie wide receivers and a couple tight ends. And let's not forget, Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are your RBs as well. So this organization, we shouldn't have read really any confidence that Cam Ward was going to be in a position to succeed. As far as a prospect goes, my tagline was that he was one of the top 5 prospects I've seen in the last 5 years. But if you go to a situation where it's as bad as it is, where you're saying we are ass and it's actually right on point as 100% genuine and true, then I'm right there with you, Matty, as far as not bending over backwards to be able to get these guys. The biggest disagreement that I have with you, Matty, though, is that what makes you think that this is going to change? So I don't want to buy a guy if I feel like there's really no confidence I have that this situation is going to change anytime soon. Ben Johnson is not out there anymore. He now plays, he now coaches the Chicago Bears. So unless you have someone of that pedigree, like him, a Liam Cohen, I don't think any of those guys are in next year's coaching cycle as far as hires go. So I think the best that we're going to get is like Clint Kubiak, maybe Joe Brady, and that's pretty much it. And they have to be able to come in. They have to say, all right, we're going to go after all these offensive linemen. We're going to get all these different coaches. I don't think any of those things are going to happen. So unfortunately for me, I think it's going to be a minute till we see some good enough success that he is worth rostering in the top 12 to 14. He's at best, I think, going to be a QB2 in Superflex for the next few years. So it's unfortunate. I just don't think he can do anything about it.
You broke my brain. You broke my brain. I am not buying. I'm not buying. You've literally just changed me on a dime.
There we go.
It was right in front of me the whole time, and I didn't see it. Cam Ward will be good in a different jersey. When he puts on different laundry, he'll be a good QB, and I won't touch it until then. I'm now rolling. It's going through the years of Titan football is just crashing through my brain,
Hey, Matty,
And I didn't
that's why you
see
had to
it.
sit back in the chair. You had to really think like, damn.
Yo,
okay.
it really did break my brain. I'm looking back because my first thought was, but Will Levis was the second pick, but I loved Will Levis. And then I think about it's like they didn't develop Vince Young, they didn't develop Marcus Mariota, they didn't develop Jake Locker. These are top 10 picks, quarterback prospects that I liked. I wasn't evaluating when Vince Young came up, but I sure as hell thought that guy was going to be a good NFL quarterback, electric.
Hey, man.
They have not developed anybody, anyone at this position. They're not gonna do this kid right. Their inability to develop quarterbacks transcends GMs, coaches.
Matty in shambles right now.
I want nothing to do with Cam Ward. I will be looking to sell Cam Ward everywhere that I have him.
Damn. Hey, my boy Rock, man. Smell what the Rock is cooking. The boy is cooking.
Damn, you're right, dude. They have never developed, and I loved Mariota coming out. I love Jake Locker. I know he's the butt of a lot of jokes, but coming out of Washington, I thought that kid might be a little bit of a baller, athlete. They suck at developed quarterbacks.
I can't think of the writer right now, but he did a special. He's from The Athletic, and he's out of Indianapolis. He talked to Andrew Luck, and he also talked to our guy, Kevin O'Connell, out in Minnesota, the head coach there. And he just talks about how difficult it is not only to succeed in the NFL, but just to have guys, coaches that know what the hell that they're doing, to be able to put you in a position to succeed, who have seen it all and have the success in the history to be able to back up what they're saying. Guys, it's really hard. That's why I always keep saying that coaches and QBs, there's nothing harder to find that's going to be successful in the NFL. So a situation, that's the biggest overall, probably if I had to have one lesson learned, situation matters. Coaches matter so damn much for this 2025 class. That's one of the biggest things I'm thinking about.
Well, to close out on Cam Ward, Rock, I will just say, I say this every morning, brother. Offensive coaches need to be with these 101 investment QBs. Caleb Williams wouldn't be what he is today without Ben Johnson. I really don't believe he would. Cam Ward, like you just said, the coach carousel is gone, right? Who's next? Who's the next guy up? A defensive-minded coach will have to have a strong OC to come in there and say, hey, you develop him, I handle everything else. Unless that relationship is put together from day one, it's not going to work. And I truly believe what both of you just said, and Matty kind of switched it up and kind of got on the track of maybe Cam Ward isn't about now. That's a good question. So I guess we'll find out in the offseason because there's going to be a whole lot of things we need to see change before we expect Cam Ward, man, get up out of the abyss, man, that he got going on over there. So, but yeah, I like that conversation, fellas. That was a good one, baby. And speaking of the 101, here's a guy that we thought could be a 101 on his team or be a great legend. And he's looking like, I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what he look like. But he's clearly stuck in the mist as well.
Looks like a Ninja Turtle.
The eyeballs say it all. Maybe he's with Vecna. I don't know. But this dude is under a spell right now. And we got to figure out what the hell going on up in Jacksonville, baby. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now what's going on in Jacksonville. Nothing. So y'all let me know what's up with Travis Hunter because they went and got Jacoby Myers. They went and got Parker Washington, who put up a 100-yard game. BTJ seemed to be the receiver 3. We don't know what the hell going on in Jacksonville. So, Rock, man, let us know because this was your boy. I'm not saying it wasn't mine either, but this was your boy. This was the generational talent that you must add to your lineups. I remember you saying that. Let us know why he's not in our lineups, brother.
Fizz, there was no other guy that I probably want more to bat for that I was actually very proud by the end of the draft cycle, by the end of the offseason. It seemed like people were starting to really see things my way because everyone was talking about, like, we don't know how much corner he's going to play. Is he really that great of a prospect? All these different things. And all I saw, Fizz, on film was one of the most talented wide receivers over the last 5 years. Every single metric that you could possibly look at, he was one of the best, if not the best, in college or just in this class in general last year. And that was with a Colorado team, with Shedeur Sanders, all those different things that you want to put up against them. The biggest lesson that I learned about Travis Hunter is how do you train a unicorn? Because I think that was the biggest issue when he landed in Duval was that no one really knew how to put this guy in the best position to succeed because they'd never seen it before. They'd never seen a player that could play at a high level on both sides of the ball. And I will give Steve Smith a shout out for this because as I think critical as he was with Tetairoa McMillan, remember that clip, Fizz, where he played where it was like, in order to become, you have to pick one position and be able to master it before you should think about going to another position. We didn't think about the both playbooks probably being this thick. It was like the Bible and the dictionary and the encyclopedia all put together. That's what they have to deal with when it comes to the NFL. How many times in the first month did they have drives that were killed just because Travis Hunter or just that offense in general wasn't on the same page? Liam Cohen was losing his mind on the sideline. And this is a complicated system that Liam Cohen has. So you put all these different things together. I mean, so much of the game in the NFL is so much different than college because a lot of it's mental. You just have a sheer amount of information that you need to be accountable for. And I don't think that the coaches, and no knock to them, it's just like, how do you put someone as rare as Travis Hunter in a position to succeed? And I think it was just too much for both Travis Hunter and for the coaches to be able to get on the same page. I still think he is just as talented as what I saw him in college football, but I think I was way too damn high. I didn't think about all the things that can get in his way. So still love Travis Hunter, still has a few years to develop, and I think by the time that he does, he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Where you at, Matty?
When it comes to Travis Hunter, I just got to keep this in my head going forward. Like, just don't be naive. Don't be an idiot. This guy had the biggest red flag in terms of fantasy, not in the NFL process, not in the player process. In fantasy, this guy had the biggest red flag in that he might not play offense. And to take a player as high as the 103, 104 in some leagues that might not play offense was so naive of us. Because he's good. I know we were all captured by, really captured by the player, thought he could do it. And I'm not saying he won't be able to. I love the player. I still love the receiver. But that red flag was so loud, so obvious, and we were all so naive to the fact that this doesn't happen, and also he might just not play the offense. Now, going forward, how I will apply this is probably never going to come up again, right? I'm not going to be evaluating a receiver / cornerback. But in terms of Travis Hunter, I am selling. I am selling for two reasons. One, he could just play cornerback at any point in his career. And two, Liam Cohen has told us something massive this year. The only person that he will believe in on that offense is Trevor Lawrence. What Trevor Lawrence wants, Trevor Lawrence gets. They don't give a shit that Brian Thomas Jr. was a first-round pick last year. Monster producer with Mac Jones. They didn't give a shit. Parker Washington has a relationship with Trevor Lawrence. He's on the field. Jacoby Myers, I know he's new, but there's a connection with Trevor Lawrence. He's on the field. Brenton Strange, he's on the field. BTJ is an afterthought. I think BTJ is traded this offseason, which in fantasy is going to be great because I think he's number 4 in command. And that could be Travis Hunter too. He's out now. Let's say he gets dinged up again. All of a sudden he's not on the field. He isn't Trevor Lawrence's guy. Liam Cohen don't care when you're picked, what you do. He doesn't. He's showing it this year. So I am selling for whatever I can get. And it breaks my heart. I love Travis Hunter. Still love him as a player. Still think he's going to be, a very special player in the NFL. But, man, how naive were we to think that this guy who had the biggest red flag of all time should have been taken inside the top 10?
Well, I will say
fantasy,
something.
Baby, you got it. It's a fantasy. You got to fulfill your fantasy.
I guess, you just razzle dazzle by the talent. But I mean, imagine taking a quarterback that might play kicker. You wouldn't. You just that possibility.
I would definitely do that, Matty, because kickers score a lot of points. How many times did we see that would actually be the ultimate cheat code? But I did just do some quick math, Matty, because I was interested in his snap percentage on offense. If you had to guess, ballpark it, where do you think that he had for the first 7 games before he got hurt? What was his average snap rate?
Right? Snap rate. I would say it was probably 53%, 55%?
66.3%. So I think,
Yeah.
for getting on the field for 66% of the time, I'm looking at Emeka Ibuka right now. His is probably closer to 70, 80%. For a rookie, I mean, who knows? Because his last game that he was actually healthy was his best game. He had 24 points, 87% snap rate. He had 14
They were also
targets,
getting their
8
ass kicked, though.
catches.
That was
they
a,
was
that
down
was
by
a
like 40 points. Too,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so like we needed that game after the bye to prove that he was here, and we
But
never got it.
But look at his remaining schedule if he was healthy. You get to play the Raiders. You get to play Arizona. You get to play Tennessee.
For
you
sure.
get to play the
For
Jets.
sure. I agree with you.
And
He might have hit the
Tennessee
runway.
again. So the only thing I would say that I don't completely agree with is that, all right, he was going to play both sides of the ball. He wanted to play 80, 85% on both sides of the ball. Who knows if he would have actually been able to do that if he would have remained healthy by the end of the season. I think it's 66.3% for a rookie. I mean, that's pretty on par. I mean, that's not a death knell or anything like that.
Right. Here's the rebuttal to that, though. All of a
Okay.
sudden, they just need him at corner, and they make the switch.
That is the biggest thing that I do worry
right.
about that we talked about.
Yeah,
on
of
this
course.
first
How could
shit.
you not?
It's like
Just be
if you
gone.
have all these receivers, you even have Strange. Trevor Lawrence loves Brenton Strange. You have all these guys that are in the field, but they made such a big investment in him, Matty. I mean,
sure.
they traded away a first-round
For sure.
pick. He was a top 2 pick. They're going to use him on both sides of the ball. And he's still one of the most he does things that no other receiver on that team can do. When it comes to those deep ball contested catches, you have to have it. The most explosive, game-changing plays. It was Travis Hunter that was able to do that. They don't win against Kansas City without Travis Hunter. So I saw enough spurts, but the biggest thing is like I think he's actually kind of a buy low. Because coming off of an injury, I think the investment that they made in him, there was nothing that he did where I'm like, oh, this guy sucks. He's not good at football. I don't want to ever knock a guy because of injury. Coming off of an injury, it might take him some time to be able to get back. You might not really see true Travis Hunter till 2027. But I think if he gets down to a point where he's only worth 2 seconds, or he's maybe only just worth a late first 2 years from now, I think there's going to be a really good buy window. And you're going to really want him in 2027. They just invested way too much in him.
I hope, but I mean, we just saw what the deep target looks like in a Liam Cohen offense, and Brian Thomas just broke the hearts of millions. So I don't know. I just don't know what you're buying. I don't know what the upside is anymore. But I love the player, and I would love him in the Parker Washington role. I would love them to say, you're not playing corner. You're going to be Parker Washington, because I think he would do that and become an elite player there. So there's still the hope. So you're right. You can't completely ignore it. But the two things you just named, I would rather have 2 seconds. I would definitely rather have a 27 first.
Okay. All righty.
All right. Well, listen, man, that was the top 6. I don't know when we're going to do the other 6, but just know the 6 is coming, baby. All right. It ain't going to be 666, but we're going to figure out some other 6s. All right. We got something going on. The 76s. I don't know, baby. We're going to figure it out. Just know we got the top 6 of this 25 class locked and loaded, man. Hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, after you check out these Stranger Things, dropping I guess we're dropping this on Thursday morning. So last night, I could just say it, last night you got to see your Stranger Things. Now it's time to tap in over here, baby, and see these other things get strange. So make sure you stay locked in, stay tapped in. After you check this one out, you come see what else we got going on next. But any final thoughts, fellas, before we get up out of here, man, on what's to come or what's already going on?
The final thought that I had for this, and why I'm very glad that we're doing this rookie recap at this time. Guys, do you know that 75% of rookies will have their value cut in half or even tank even further after their rookie year? So only 25% of the guys that we drafted in the first round are going to either maintain their value going into the second year or even ascend. 75% of these guys are not. So this is the time after the season is over to really think about these guys, if you want to hold them, if you want to buy them, or if you want to sell them. Because a lot more often than not, you're going to want to sell these guys. So just one thing to keep in mind as we move forward through this series. Had a ton of fun being able to talk about these top 6 prospects with both of you guys. Super excited for the next one to come out.
Yeah, baby. Can't wait
Well,
to keep it going. Keep it rolling next year with you boys.
I got a quick question, man, before we get, and also, yeah, Happy New Year's, man. This is dropping, tonight is New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year's to the people. But let me switch this over before we get up out of here, fellas. I got a quick question that I want to ask y'all. Looking at all the Sixer players that we went through today, give me who 1 through 6, who are these characters are in the Stranger Things cast in the series. Which player from the 6 we just picked are we aligning with the characters from Stranger Things, and we're close like that, baby.
Oh god, I gotta pull up the characters from Stranger Things.
I got
Omarion Hampton has to be 11 because he has the ability to just destroy worlds.
I like that. I like that. All right.
Let me see here. Let's get deep in the bag here. Travis Hunter is.
Are you gonna call him Vecna? Is that who Travis Hunter?
No, he's not a bad guy.
Number 1.
He destroyed our worlds, man. He destroyed us. So yes, we're going Vecna with Travis Hunter for me.
Travis Hunter is Lucas because he's gonna be stuck in between these two worlds. Lucas is the athlete and the nerd. Which way is he gonna go? So we don't know which way Travis Hunter's gonna go. Offense, defense. So
I like that,
Lucas.
Man. I like that one.
Let's see here.
Who's the cop? Who's
Hoppy? Who's Rambo?
The cop is
I don't know if
Cam
I'm talking
Ward.
about him.
Cam Ward looking for friends and looking for everybody to help him out. The cop is Cam Ward.
He's gone through a lot of suffering. So maybe by the end of the show, end of Cam Ward's his tenure in Tennessee, he's gonna come out grizzled and badass for sure. Yeah, that's hot right there.
Maybe I think Cam Ward might be Barb. Like he just had no chances of fighting.
Oh god,
he has no chance of surviving on the Titans. He isn't. Maybe he's Will because he's stuck in the Upside Down right now.
Hey, that's what Matty seems like the Stranger Things enthusiast, man. I'm gonna let you pick the characters, baby, because you got it locked down.
We're gonna go Cam Ward because he's Will because he's stuck in the Upside Down. This is the early seasons.
Tet is built like a demigorgon. I mean, that guy is absolutely crazy.
That's what he did to the Cowboys defense as well. He destroyed them. He ate them up, man. He cooked them up. So let's go Tet with the demigorgon, man. We got one more. It's TreVeyon Henderson.
TreVeyon Henderson is Steve because he's just the man. He's just the man.
He's Steve.
That's awesome. All right, man. Well, we're going to roll with that then. All right, we're going to roll with that one. And, hey, make sure, again, y'all, after y'all check out them Stranger Things, you'll wake up and check out more Stranger Things, baby, because we will have this airing in the morning time that you're watching it, of course. So, hey, man, without further ado, fellas, we appreciate it. We love the people. We love the channel. We love the vibes. We love the South Harmon family. And let's make sure we keep it rolling, man. So any final words or we good to go? Y'all let me know.
See y'all next year.
See y'all next year. Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's right. See you next year, baby. We out of this thing, huh?